Everyone, this is Chris from Chris Watches Pretty Little Liars. Hi, sorry for the, missing a couple weeks here. We're trying our best here. Chris is here in the woods at an undisclosed location. We're trying to make things work here. I'm doing them as I can. I'm kind of take that pressure off myself. I want to shout out a listener who dropped me a line just to say, hey, we're out here, we're listening. I'm a fan of the show. That was very kind of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I was listening to some of my old jingles, and I really enjoyed them. I forgot for a minute that I did them. I think my favorite is the brew commercial I did. So if anyone ever who comments or, who has thoughts, if there's ever something you're like, I would love to hear a commercial of, whatever, the Rosewood PD, or I don't know, what might be a good commercial. Oh, I have one for this week. Actually, I might do a commercial this week. I think that's about it for the preamble here. Was there something else I was going to say? I don't think there's anything else I'm going to say. So I'm just going to let the music roll. We have a lot to talk about. Not my favorite episode of the season, but you know what? We have a couple reveals I think we should get into, so let's get to that music. Chris watches Pretty Little Liars. Chris watches Pretty Little Liars. Chris watches Pretty Little Liars, so he can help you figure out who's a... Season 3, Episode 20, Hot Water. Hot Water. We are previously on, reminded that Ezra's mom exists. The masked person who chokes, I think it's Emily on the train or Arya, I forget. I think, and just keep that in mind, I think that's the exact costume we see later. The photo with Cece, we hear Spencer say Toby and I broke up. We see Paige talking to the masked person. And by the way, I was right about something we'll talk about in a moment. One with Three Ends exists. I don't know why he's back. We see Spencer attacking Mona, the smooch with Wes and Arya, and then Jason almost dies, and then he leaves town. Probably because he booked another guest starring gig on another show. We started the brew. We have a liar meeting. This is immediately after the elevator fallout. I wrote that in my notes and I realized that's a kind of funny pun there. That was unintentional. And they bring up Cece. They think Cece might be Redcoat Gal. And I don't know why they kind of fall back on that later in the episode. At least Emily does. But I'm pretty convinced Cece is Redcoat Gal. But we'll get to that. Creepy cam is established. We remember what we've established. If we see a shaky cam outside, that is a someone who's out there versus a dolly shot, a very static shot that's clearly a pan or a move. That is not creepy cam. But we do have a creepy cam outside. We'll later find out who creepy cam is. It's appropriate that I call it creepy cam. Spencer gets a text from Ren with Three Ends. Can we talk about what happened tonight? And there's a knock on the door. Wilden, creepy detective. Well, creepy cam, creepy detective. Detective Wilden. And I have something to say about Wilden at the end here. We'll get to that. He's like, what are you doing here? Emily's like, I have a key. He's like, whoa. Jason's been saying nasty things about me. What a weird thing for a detective to show up at the brew in the middle of the night to say to the four of them. What a weird thing for this adult man to do. We have very poor adult males in Rosewood. There's just, we can just go through the list. He is near the top after this episode. Hannah mentions Cece, Drake, and Allison. We saw that photo. You're on a boat with them, blah, blah, blah. And then creepy detective says, care for a ride? Definitely his peak creepiness. He's definitely hit the peak creepiness here, Wilden. And he says, see you around to Hannah. Cut to the Montgomery household. Arya picks up a journal. I think it's Wes's journal, isn't it? She just kind of comes in there. There's like blankets there. And she doesn't open it, but she does hold it in her hand. Cut to Hannah and Ashley. They're talking about Caleb and their dad doing okay. And we see Detective, this is like a morning walk, I think, with the two of them. We see Detective Wilden throwing Cece into his car, and then they drive off. Ma's like, what's going on? And Hannah says something unintentionally funny. Wilden is a freak and he hates us. I don't know, I just like that. Then she finally does tell her mom they think Wilden and Allie had a relationship. And then Cece was friends with Allie is what is established. So that's kind of the relationship. Cece's friends with Allie. They were all on this boat together. And that Wilden and Allie had a relationship. Cut to Spencer and Melissa. Melissa with a haircut. Maybe I missed it last episode, but she definitely has a haircut. And Spencer's been skipping school. Melissa's acting concerned, whatever. Parents are still in the UK. Cut to Emily and Hannah. Hannah tells Emily she told her mom about it. Emily's like, well, what did you do that for? And then the question that comes up, why would Cece lie? Great question there, liars. And then they say, you know what, Paige might know more, then maybe she forgot something. Let's shake down Paige after school. And then Hannah tells Emily about, she thinks Caleb's dad might have stolen some money from the donation box at church. It's unconfirmed. Emily just kind of says, people draw on money all the time. But we, the viewers, know he did it. So I guess we're going to deal with that at the end of the season. Prediction. I think this is going to drive a wedge between Caleb and Hannah. As much as it pains me, Caleb may even call his dad out on it. I think it's going to lead to a whole blow up. I'm already calling it. I'll be very upset when it happens. Arya walks into Ezra's apartment. Again, she walks in there like one would as if they lived there, which I think is kind of strange. You know, she walks in there, she doesn't pay attention, and then it's his apartment. Of course, Ezra's back, and she was on the phone with Wes as she walks in. And so he said he needed time. Sorry, I didn't reach out to you when I was dealing with my kid and the mother of my kid. And then Arya, I put in my notes, Arya wants to be a stepmom. She sounds like she does want to be in Ezra's life and this kid's life. Boy, so many problems there. We find out Mom paid Maggie to keep quiet about the baby, which I think we might have known in the past, but this underlines it. And then Ezra says to her, I want you in my life. And then, oh yeah, we're going to have dinner tonight and talk about it, LOL. And then casually, Ezra says, what's going on with Wes? And Arya's like, oh no, everything's fine. We didn't kiss or anything. Cut to Spencer at school. She's kind of chilling in a room for her free period, taking a kind of a nap. Arya's mom walks in, and let's do a little chalkboard check. On the board, we see my heart aches, despair, unrequited love. I'm going to stick to a theory here. That's a chalkboard check, right? As we established, sometimes they put fun words on there to echo a scene or underline some themes going on. I'm not convinced Spencer's not playing all of us. We'll get to that in a moment, too. Mona apparently prevented Spencer from being suspended, which, of course, Mona wouldn't want that anyway. She wants to mess with her some more. And Arya's mom says, I've never seen you this down, Spencer. And Spencer says, people change. People change. We cut to Paige putting in Rosewood Costume Shop into her dashboard, map quest. I don't know what we had at the time of the show. Emily and Hannah rush up to the window, and Paige is a horrible liar, or pretending to be a horrible liar. I'm unconvinced. She goes, oh, I'm going to the shop to check out the Queen of Hearts costumes. And they go, we're coming with. Paige is like, no. And Emma's like, yep. I still think Paige is a double agent, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to prove that. But I think she is. Spencer and Arya in the hallway. Spencer walks away to the bathroom. Arya follows her into the bathroom. Spencer goes to a stall. And Arya, for the first time, and it won't be the last of this episode, Spencer, very clearly going through it, right? Very clearly going through some stuff in a stall, door closed. Arya says on the other side of the door, hey, by the way, Ezra's back. I get it. It's important to Arya, but is this the time Arya to be dropping that information? Anyway, she leaves. Arya leaves the bathroom. Cut to the costume shop. Shanna is there. Shauna or Shanna? Shauna. And Paige is like, what's up with the information? And Shauna goes, no, I can't give it out. I'll get fired. A lot of weird tension, which I read the room properly. Hannah does a okay distraction technique to get Shauna out of the room. Emily does a little hacking. I don't know how she knows how to work the system. Actually, you know what? This does track. She works at the Brew. They may have the same system. So you know what? I'm going to give the show credit on this one. Emily knows what she's doing. She gets the information, although I guess it's just a credit card number. She emails it to herself or something, and they get the hell out of there. But the tension is not lost on anybody between Shauna, Emily, and Paige. Cut to the Brew. This is at the Brew. Arya's there. Mom, Ezra, walks up. She's in town, I guess. She's like, thanks, Arya. Wes has come home. He's going to finish school, blah, blah, blah. Arya's like, okay. And then somehow Arya lets it slip that Wes stayed at her house, which Mom apparently did not know. And then Mom does what she does best, her little passive-aggressive, Malcolm and Maggie, it's going to change things. Wink, 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 nudge, nudge, nudge. I hope you get out of Ezra's life. Which, again, I know Mom is the villain in this whole little subplot. I get it. I get it. She doesn't do things maybe the best way. She's not wrong. She's not wrong here. Ezra needs to get as far away from Arya as he can. I mean, the damage is done. We'll talk about this in a moment, too, later on here with Wilden, Allie, and how the show portrays that as opposed to Ezra and Arya. Cut to Hannah and Emily. I think they're in Emily's place, although it was a little unclear which house they're in. I guess it doesn't really matter. Caleb's going to run the credit card numbers. He's going to do his hacking thing off screen. Emily says to Hannah, would Toby cheat? And Hannah's like, no. And Hannah's like, would Paige is not going to cheat on you with Shauna. And then Hannah says something kind of funny. She goes, we don't even know if, Shauna's a lesbian at all. She didn't even look at me, which was, Arya walks in, lays on the bed, and then again, she just says, Ezra's back in town, and they're like, oh, okay. We cut to Ashley at dinner. I don't know if this is Ashley. Wasn't Ashley and Hannah going to meet up? I thought, like, why is she at this restaurant by herself? At any rate, she's there. Wilden walks in, and she does have, like, a little smile on her face. I think there's a part of Ashley that still has a little thing for Wilden. I don't know. It started a hair flirty, and then got real bad real quick. Wilden says, an accusation like this could end me. And I'm like, okay, so the show is very clear. Wilden and Allie being together is a huge problem. And yet somehow the same dynamic, Ezra and Arya, is treated as the romance of the century. I find that interesting. And we talk about Ren with 3 N's and Spencer. Later, this happens later on too. He's also an adult man. So I don't really get that. But you know what? We're just going to accept it as it is. Wilden's right. I mean, that would be the end of him. And he never confirms nor denies it, which is interesting. Spencer at the brew. She's there. Ren with 3 N's walks up. He says, we should talk about the trip. Mona told me about your breakup. And he's like, I wasn't there just for Mona. I thought maybe I have a chance now? Ugh, Ren with 3 N's. God, jeez Louise. And then he says, did Mona come between you and Toby? And Spencer says something like that. 2 things about this scene. I'm convinced Ren with 3 N's is involved with an AT club or somebody, right? He's part of that. He's a part of that group. I think it stems from his time with Melissa. Maybe ties in with Ian. I'm not entirely sure how he folds into that, but he's very clearly to me part of Mona's crew, which may be Cece's crew. That's unclear. So he is there, not honestly. And I am convinced ever since the Toby reveal to Spencer, I think she has been playing us, the audience, too. I don't know if I'm right, but I have a feeling maybe at the end of the season, all these moves have been Spencer playing us, the audience, as well as everyone in her life. Kissing Ren, all the stuff that's going to happen from that point up to now and even beyond. I think she's trying to get to the root of what's going on with A by playing into this plant, this spy, Ren, that's been given to her. Hannah and Emily are talking about Ezra and having the kid. Then we see Spencer and Ren going on a little walk, like a little walk and talk date. He goes in for the kiss, and then she actually kisses him. We do see a creepy cam also on watching what's going on. Again, I think Spencer is playing him because I think he's playing Spencer. There's a whole subtext thing going on here. That's what I think. Maybe I'm giving Spencer too much credit. I think someone in the Liars crew is not being honest with us, the audience, and I think it's Spencer. Come back to Ezra's place. Arya walks in. Ezra's mom is there. Ezra and Arya. We have a little scene here. She's, I guess, talking about. Ezra doesn't want his mom involved at all. He's mad that she paid Maggie to keep quiet when Maggie got pregnant. And then Ezra says something very wild. When we just got done talking about Wilden, I'm not going to apologize for loving you, meaning Arya. And then Mom leaves, and he says, give me that spare key that I know you had made. So she grabs, he gets a spare key that I guess she had made. Emily and Paige, Shauna did get in trouble for, which Emily did, of course, emailing that receipt to herself. And then this question's brought up, did Mona kill Garrett? So that's kind of the theory that the Liars apparently have. And is Mona working for Cece? Which kind of tracks with what I think is going on currently, but we'll get to that. And then Emily just confronts her, and sure enough, Shauna and Paige dated while Emily was not with Paige, and she called her a substitute. I was like, wow. Emily took that better than I don't know if I would. Yeah, there's a lot there that wasn't really explored, but I don't know, Emily, I don't know what to say about that. What a wild thing to say to your current girlfriend. Cut to Spencer. She's walking after post-Ren smooch. Redcoat. She sees Redcoat. She chases after them. Of course, they're gone. I think it's Cece. It could be Mona. I don't know why Mona would wear the red coat, though. And I don't know why the red coat thing would be, something that they want the Liars to know. I don't know. Cut to Hannah. Mom's calling her, but she's listening to her headphones. Then we switch to Mom leaving a message on her phone about Wilden. Then Wilden is trailing her. Quick, silly thing. He has a convenient, he has a big red light on his roof. I don't think he needs to put that on there all the time. I think he probably could have pulled that red light off his roof. But it does look like, it's like, hey, this is a cop car. This is an off-brand cop car. Cut to Melissa and Spencer. And Spencer comes home, and Melissa says, no company is better than bad company. I bought Ren with 3 N's, that cologne. And she walks out of the room. Ezra and Arya, They're having a silly little talk about movies, and then Maggie calls. Something has gone wrong. Turns out Ezra's mom owns the condo complex that Maggie is in, and guess what? Mom's going to be selling that complex, which might mean Maggie and Malcolm need a place to move to. This is Mom flexing her financial muscle. Cut back to Ashley driving home. Wilden pulls her over, says, were you drinking tonight? We know he knows, right? And she even says that. So Wilden sucks. Let me just say this here about Wilden. Anyway, Wilden says, have you been driving? Blah, blah, blah. Listen, Wilden sucks, right? Wilden sucks a lot. I think he's just like a shitty guy. I don't think he has anything to do with Allie being killed. I don't think he has anything to do with any of that. He is just a selfish guy. Why was he on a boat with Allie and Cece? That's creepy. That's not good. But I guess he's Melissa's age, right? Didn't we establish that he went to school with Melissa? It's still creepy. Or maybe he was more innocent than maybe the photo reveals. I just think that he just sucks in general, and that the show really wants us to think that he is the guy that did all this. I don't think he is. I think he just sucks. We go to Spencer's house. They have the highest tech. I don't even know if this exists in our. Does this exist in our real life? This shower technology. It has like all these settings on a little panel, and she sets it to steam, and then she sits down in her shower, which is now a steam room, and we see a hooded vigilante in her house. Could be Mona, could be Cece. Although looking at the time frame, it's probably Mona, right? It's got to be Mona. And then I kind of glossed over this, but we come back to Wilden and Ashley. He tells her to go for a walk. By the way, all this is being recorded on his dash cam. So he says, we need to talk about Hannah, and you shut her up or I will, he says to Ashley. He goes for she gets in her car. He like puts his hand on his gun, and so she runs him over. What the fuck? Ashley runs over Detective Wilden, okay? Well, that relationship is over. Emily goes to Cece's house. Cece is like leaving town. She's like packing her bags. Emily confronts her about the lies. Of course, Cece has no explanation. I can't talk about this right now. And Cece says, I thought Wilden got Allie pregnant and killed her. As I have said, I think Wilden did not do this. So clearly this is Cece putting this in Emily's brain. I don't think that's true. I don't know if she is or part of why she would want that to be the story that liars chase for a while. That doesn't really seem to help the A stuff. And why would Cece be in charge of Mona? That's unclear too. But I put in my notes here. Wilden sucks, but he just sucks. He's not he didn't kill her. I'm not even sure he got her pregnant. I'm not even sure that he was in a relationship with Allison, to be honest. I think it's all a big misdirection. But let's be clear. He sucks independently of everything going on. And then she has some story about some videos she was supposed to get, and then Allison disappeared a day later. Again, this is all a smokescreen. I don't think any of this matters at all. And then she does reveal that Melissa took the photo on the boat, which is interesting that she reveals that. Again, I think it's a smokescreen, although I do think Melissa is part of a group. But, yeah, I don't know. That would explain why Jason remembers Cece and Melissa talking. Which could be, remember I had that theory a long time ago that Ian and Melissa maybe accidentally killed Allison? Maybe Cece was present there. Maybe she witnessed or was a part of that situation. And that Allison is trying to get everybody back and trying to find out who's responsible, etc. Which could mean that she is Redcoat woman. Maybe they both have redcoats, I don't know. But maybe Allison is indeed Redcoat gal. So Spencer's caught in the steam room. It's for some reason going up higher and higher. I do not know. This is another one of those A things. How did they do this? How would they hack into this and do this? Very unclear. Very mysterious. Maybe it's Lucas. Maybe it is Mona. We know Mona's a bit of a hacker, I guess, now too, for some reason. But anyway, she's locked in the steam room. This is clearly the hooded vigilante. And then on the mirror, steamy with Ren, steamy with me, -A. Okay. Spencer's apparently going to die, but Arya saves her. Cut to Hannah and Ashley's house. Hannah's mom is sitting there acting all weird. Hannah says, what's wrong? I think I killed Wilton, she says. Holy shit. Spencer is in recovery afterwards. Arya says, and so, yeah, so they think Mona probably did this for hooking up with Ren. That's what the message, I guess, that Spencer's receiving. That, quote, hooking up. I don't know if hooking up is just kissing or do they, But finally, she says, we need a liar meeting. I gotta tell you something. I know who's helping Mona. So finally, it didn't happen this episode, but finally Spencer's going to tell her fellow liars Toby is part of the A team, a network, a group, whatever we want to call it, which may or may not be the NAT club. I won't say that I predicted this, but I was not surprised. So sure enough, Hannah and Ashley drive up to the scene of the hit and run. His car is still there. His door's open. Lights are still on. The dash cam is still going. No Wilden though, and of course they're on the dash cam. And then our post-credit scene, not the worst, not the best. We see they turn on a record player. Steam Heat is the song. Ba-dum-bum. Steam Heat. And someone is making a sympathy wreath. Okay. What do we think? What do we know? Well, I think, as I have said before, the way A works independently of harassing the liars. And maybe it is part of the overall game. Maybe it's not just the liars. But the way they get power, the way they get holds on people is by doing things like what's happened to Wilden and then using that against him. So A has a new thing. A can now manipulate Ashley. A can say, I brought Wilden to safety. He's recovered. He's not going to say anything. And you owe me now. So Ashley's going to be under A's thumb, in theory. Hannah, the same thing. There's a dash cam footage. Mom's going to go to jail. So I'm guessing A is going to manipulate Hannah until all this comes to light. So we get another 2 to 10 episodes of that to look forward to. Wilden sucks. He does not have anything to do with what's going on. Again, creepy detective sucks big time. But he is not. This is all a ruse. CC is throwing them off the trail intentionally for whatever reason. For all we know, that photo might be doctored. I don't know. And Wilden doesn't help his case. He reacts like someone who is guilty, of course, right? He's acting all defensive and mean because he is not wrong. If anyone even partially believes it, his career and his life in Rosewood would be over 100%. But I don't think he's done it, and of course he doesn't handle things in any sort of good way. So of course he does it the terrible way, and now he's, I don't know, in some sort of cabin being tended to by Nurse Mona or Cece. I want to do at the end of this season, so I think we have 4 episodes left. I would love to do a revised A's list, partially to play that song again, but also to kind of review who I think is part of it. I'm still trying to work through NAT Club versus A. There might be 2 separate things. I'm unclear, and I'm unclear who is part of what group. But there's a lot going on underneath the surface. I just hope at the end of the season, this is my hope, and I know the show is long over, that we get some sort of insight into what's really going on. Even if that's just Spencer saying, hey, I've been playing people ever since I found out about Toby, floppy hair boy, Ren with 3 ends. I'm just trying to get closer and figure out what the hell is going on. We're not going to let Cece off the hook. She's definitely part of the A group. I don't know if she's in charge of Mona or not. I just don't know why. She's friends with Allie. Maybe, again, Allie pissed off a lot of people. Maybe Cece had a crush on Wilden, and then Allie kind of ruined that, as Allie does. I just don't know why Cece would be part of it at all. But it's clear to me that she is. And her leaving town is, of course, fake. She of course didn't leave town. They have a new safe house, so she's going to do her A stuff from there. Hopefully one of them gets busted at the end of the season. I mean, Mona's already been busted. Toby's been busted. So I guess we just need to see proof that Cece is indeed wearing a hood, right? The hooded vigilante stuff. So I think that's all I have for now. You can follow me on Instagram at Magoogs, TikTok, Mac to the Gal. Twitch is still on hold while I'm here lost in the woods. Feel free to... I'm posting these on YouTube. I think that's meant for video podcasts, but they let you put my RSS feed on there. So I'm also there on my Mac to the Gal YouTube channel if for some reason you listen to audio on YouTube. So it's there. It's everywhere. It should be everywhere, the podcast. Feel free to leave comments. That was so nice of that listener to leave that comment for me. It kind of, made me think, okay, there's some of you out there who listen to this, enjoy it. It helps keep me going. Once we get to the end of the season, that's when we'll kind of wrangle our guest stars together. I'll probably have some guest stars for season 4 once we get started on that. And lastly, in terms of releases, I'm just going to get these out as often as I can, as quickly as I can. But I'm not going to put I know you're supposed to have a schedule. Listen, I follow all those podcast creator people. I get it. But currently, we're just trying to take that pressure off and get them out when I can. Like this episode. But if I get an episode out, you'll get it Friday morning. Usually it's 9 a.m. Pacific, my time zone when I get them up. So if you don't see it on Friday, I probably didn't get one this week. But you should hear this on a Friday morning, very soon. I've said way too much.